Welcome back to another episode of Cappuccino Chat. This time we're talking about 0 days and what exactly does that mean? All right, so we're talking about 0 days as this has been in the news a lot lately, but what does that actually mean to most of us? So some of the attacks that we've seen lately have been around Microsoft, like the Microsoft Office Felina attack and Microsoft Search. But these types of attacks are not limited to just Microsoft. It happens to everybody. Apple was in the news a couple months back. They had like a big string of them affecting all their different devices, not just the iPhones and iPads, but even the watches and their Mac OS itself. So it does affect everybody. So what is a 0 day? So a 0 day is a vulnerability that's the manufacturer has been unaware of and is now being made aware of. Meaning it's the 0 day. They haven't had a chance yet to react to it. They haven't had a chance to do anything about it, but nothing has happened yet. Now, if a 0 day turns into something where it is being actively exploited and gone after in the wild, in other words, you and me, if we're being used, if someone's attacking us using this new 0 day vulnerability that was found, then it becomes a 0 day attack, as in the case of the Microsoft Office one, the Felina. So basically how that one worked was getting attachments, opening those attachments, getting an error message, launching some other stuff. Gets a little technical. These are the most dangerous types of attacks. And the reason being is, again, it's 0 day. Nobody's really had a chance to take a look at it, see how to correct it, see where the issues are, see what other systems might be affected by it. So these are the most dangerous types of attacks in the fact that we know it's something that can be exploited, it just hasn't been yet. And typically when somebody knows there's an exploit available to them, it's just a matter of time before it happens. So now it's a race against the clock. So how do we protect ourselves from these things and not go into panic mode when it happens? So first of all, don't go into panic mode when stuff like this happens. All the manufacturers will attempt to get everything patched and fixed as fast as possible. Now, sometimes in the course of fixing these, the manufacturers do end up introducing additional issues, problems that weren't thought of or accounted for. So we have had in the past where Microsoft may release a patch, and then that patch actually causes other problems that they didn't know about. But most manufacturers will attempt to get things patched and fixed as quickly as possible. So number one, do not panic. They will fix it as quickly as possible. Two, just because there's an exploit out there doesn't mean it's going to necessarily happen to you right away. It is very possible, as in this case of this Microsoft Office one, majority of users use Microsoft Office in some shape or form. So odds are good that this type of attack could affect all of us. The best course of action for these types of things are training our employees. So in the case of this Microsoft Office one, yes, it's an issue. Yes, Microsoft is working or has worked to fix it and fixed it. But in the meantime, between the point of finding it and the point of getting it fixed, if something were to happen, the best defense to this is employee training. So training your employees not to click on links, not to open attachments. Again, we all get in a rush. We all know things are going on and we're just like, oh, yep, I know that's for my customer. I need to open that. Not necessarily. If you weren't expecting it, it's out of the ordinary. Check spelling, check the return email address and the from email address. It may have their name, but not their email address that you're used to getting. So slow down and verify these things. This is the easiest way for attacks to happen, is they get a hold of someone's address book by getting into one of your clients or friends, family's email account. They get all the email addresses and then they send out with their name attached to it, but not their email address necessarily. Sometimes they do spoof the email address, but again, look at different things: email address, spelling, the way they talk in the email. We all know we have our own different flair and way of saying things, and that comes across both in our speech and in our emails when we're typing out messages. So make sure it fits. Just because a client may send you an invoice or a link to something to share a document with you, if you weren't expecting that document or that link or that invoice, do not open it. Pick up the phone, call that person back, say, hey, I just got this email from you. Did you mean to send this to me? Because I wasn't expecting an invoice from you. We just paid your invoice. Or, we weren't expecting another invoice quite so soon. You normally send us invoices on the 1st and the 15th or the end of the month or whatever the case might be. So have your employees slow down and watch for things like that. It typically is a dead giveaway when things like this happen. So what is a 0 day? It's the 0 day, right? We haven't even had a full day to know about the issue happening, and it's a vulnerability in the system. Could be the operating system, could be a program like Microsoft Office, could be in something like Google or in the Apple devices. It's just a vulnerability. Once it becomes a 0 day threat, that means they're actually seeing people take advantage of that vulnerability and attack businesses, people, etc. As with everything, if you have any questions on this and how you can help protect yourself, your employees, and your business, always reach out to us, 760-770-5200.